This video shows how you can add user selections to reports in XLReporting. When you define a report, you may want to select certain data, for example, one given company or a range of financial periods. So let me show you how you do that. We're going to use the trial balance report, which is one of our example reports. So you go to define fields, and we're going to focus on the column selected data. So let's say that we want to filter on a company. We select the company code. We see the values that exist in the database. So let's say we want to select the GB company. And that's all you need to do to select one company. But in many cases, you do not want to filter a report on a fixed value. You want to give the user the possibility to select a value when they run a report. That is done using the select function. So let me show you how that is done. We're going to take the company as an example. I'm going to select a function type filters and then find the function called select. Select has multiple types. Basically, it makes a distinction between whether it's optional or mandatory. So do you want the end user to select something or not? Secondly, it's a distinction between single select or multiple select. So can this user select just one value or can they select multiple values, multiple companies, for example? I'm going to start with the basic default, which is just this, just a select function by itself on the company field. If I make that change and I run the report, you see that we now have a selection on the company code. Now that is a little bit cryptic, so let's take it a bit further and let's imagine that we do not want the selection of a company code, but we also want to see the name, so it's easier for the user. That's a different type. That's all explained in our support center. You can then find the companies and the company name. So now we're going to show the company names in the list, but the filtering will be done on the company code. And if I do that, you see that we see the company names clearly lined up. Now let's take it a step further and let's say that we want multiple select. So that's a different type. 11 instead of 10. Run that again. And now you see this. Now we're going to save this report and take a look at how the report looks for the end user when they run it. They get a nicely presented list with companies that they can select. And if they've done that, you see that only the selected companies are in the report. Let's take it one step further and add a selection on the account code as well. Same principle, we're going to use the select function. We're going to use a multiple select function showing the descriptions. So we'll find the account name, like so. That now enables the user to select on the company and select on the accounts. But let's imagine that we don't want to show all the accounts. We only want to show certain types of accounts. So let's take it a step further. And we're going to add another criteria to the select function. And that is where we're going to make a filter on the list of values. So let's take account type and imagine that we want only the accounts that are P&L. So this function is going to show a multiple select field to the user, showing the account name, but only those accounts that have the type P&L. So if I run that, and if I save this report and show you how it's visible to the end user, you see that these are only the P&L accounts in our demo data. So the user can select which companies, they can select the accounts they want of a certain type, and that generates the report. Let's go back to define. Let's go back to define fields. So we accomplished that using just two statements, two functions on two different fields. And obviously you can create multiple selects on different fields. You can also combine selects with fixed value. So you could still say that, for example, you want a selection on the finance department, but enable the user to make their own selection for company and account, as an example. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.